Unitedu muzej. Survivors.
That is Belgrade, yeah. Or is the phantom, I don't see what's in that too.
Keep coming.
Okay.
This one all the way down. Have a seat. All the way down. Have a seat. Wow, okay. Yes, sir. You're
Yes.
holding your
Yeah,
camera.
on the
Right,
camera.
okay, fine. You're a Chelsea fan, I'm sorry about that. It doesn't matter who you support, we welcome everyone here at Man United. If we all supported the same team, football would be a bit boring, wouldn't it? So we have to all support different teams, make it a bit exciting. And it is getting exciting in the Premier League now with Arsenal and City very close, and hopefully we can secure our top 4 place as well. Okay, so a bit about the stadium. It was built in 1910. It's the largest cup stadium in Man United. He won a Ballon d'Or, he won a World Cup. He retired in around 1973 playing football. Had a fantastic career. Still a club ambassador and a club director. Not in great health now, but he does have a seat over there as well. I'll point that out a bit later on. Last but not least, Stretford End. Does anyone know why it's called Stretford End? Perfect, 100% right. You go a couple of miles that way, you're in the city of Stretford. The Stretford End of the stadium, that's where the noisy supporters would sit, okay? They get the noise going all around the stadium. If you're a youngster over there, you might learn a few new words. So you have to be careful. But yeah, they get the noise reverberating around the stadium to intimidate the away fans will be in that corner just up there. Welcome everybody, that concludes today's talk. Welcome. So we are going to make our way around the stadium. We are a nice big group. Just a couple of things before we do set off. Very important. If anyone needs the bathroom, toilet, has an emergency of any kind, see me.
Inside it.
Okay, you guys know what this is. Come a bit closer. Come and have a look. String. Very good guess. Etch-a-sketch. That's a good one. I like that one. Red. You get some standing as well. The pitch is in perfect condition, as you can see. It's actually 97% grass, 3% nylon fibre. The nylon fibres sit below the surface, millions and millions of tiny nylon fibres. The seed is then planted into those nylon fibres, and as they grow, they wrap around, the roots wrap around the nylon fibres, making a really hard-wearing pitch. So when the players slide in, the grass doesn't cut up, so it'll look like that the day after a game. Also underneath the pitch we have 18 miles of pipes, so on a cold frosty day we can run hot water through those pipes, so we don't have to call any games off as well. It has won Best Pitch 5 out of 7 years. It's actually made by a company called Desso. It's called the Desso Grassmaster Pitch.
Dove ćemo ga onda? Manchester. Idemo, dressing rooms. Sve legende su u ovim slučajnicama bile.
Se tu skidao Beckham.
Jeste, ali još važnije Maradona.
Jesu neki frajer. Vedao bi ovdje Cristiano Ronaldo ili Beckhama.
Okay, so we are going to go into a secure area. As we go down some steps, the door at the bottom will lock automatically. So if you just hold it open for the person behind you, so you can just get through. Also, when we get into the dressing room, feel free to sit with any player's shirts. I'll give you plenty of time to have photos and videos in there, and then we'll have a chat when we get in there as well. Okay?
Idem dressing room. Samo što je uzet tunel.
Received. Okay, so a couple of questions we get asked quite regularly in here. The first one being, is this the real dressing room of Man United? Hands up if you think it is.
No.
So a lot of you don't think it's the real dressing room. It is the real dressing room. So the players will be in here when they come to play here. A lot of stadiums, like the Nou Camp Stadium in Barcelona, they will take you to a mock or a staged dressing room. This is the actual dressing room. The second question we get asked is about the shirts. Are they the real shirts? Yes. Yes? No.
No.
No? Yes. No?
Yes.
They're not the real shirts, they're just replica shirts. They're just put up to show you how they will be on a match day. And this is pretty much how Erik ten Hag has it set up. We had Bruno Fernandes on one of our tours. He told us now that the first team are on both sides, up to where the goalies are. The reason being that Erik ten Hag will be here. Behind here is an interactive TV and tactics board. So he likes the first team closer to that when he's giving his tour. When Louis van Gaal was here, it was a bit different. He'd have all the first team on this wall and all the substitutes on this side. He'd have goalies, defenders, midfielders and attackers, because he felt that if he wanted to talk to one section of his team, they were all sat together. When Sir Alex Ferguson was here, it didn't look like this. The changing room actually started about here, and that was the first team changing room, just that area there. Very small, benches, white walls, boot room in the middle, and this was the away team dressing room just here. So we extended it when Jose was here, and the away team is now on the other side of the tunnel. This was extended. We have a lot more substitutes now, and a lot more staff, so they needed a much bigger space. So on a match day, about 3.5 hours before the game starts, the players will arrive. They'll have a meal upstairs, and they'll come down here. Where you're sat will be their training kits. They'll get changed into that, do some light warm-ups, some stretches, come back in here, and a bell will ring about 8 minutes before the game starts. That's the referee signalling. It's time for the players to get changed to go play the first half. Referee's room is just around the corner there. First half played back in here. There's a physio's bench at the end. That will be rolled in, so any players with any knocks, niggles or strains will be worked on at half time. And then at the end of the game, once they've played the second half, showers on both sides and 2 ice baths just around the corner. It is mandatory for every player to have an ice bath for 2 minutes, chest high. It helps with the recovery of lactic acid and any bruising as well. So that's pretty much what happens in here. We're going to now walk the way the players would walk from here into the tunnel. Okay? So grab your belongings and follow me this way.
Lactic acid. Mi još je nismo iščistili.
A pomaže hodanje da se iščisti.
Theater of Dreams.
That goes on for 4 hours. So as I said, the visiting team is now here. We don't go in there on the tours, it's very plain. We don't give them very much. Cold water, that's it. No, it's not that bad. It's got white walls and similar kind of seating areas that we have in there, but nothing fancy like the badges and everything in the home team dressing room. So this is the new tunnel, and this tunnel was built in 1993. The reason being, after the Hillsborough disaster, where a lot of people lost their lives, we built this tunnel because the Taylor report that came out said that if you could have got an emergency vehicle onto the pitch, it would have saved a lot of lives. So with that in mind, we made sure that the red doors at the back, they open fully to the top. This stand here is on hydraulic lifts, where the yellow paint goes down. So this stand will lift 25 feet into the air. The tunnel is on rollers, so that will roll all the way back. And that way we can get an emergency vehicle, an ambulance, a fire engine, police car, whatever we need to, straight down and onto the pitch in an emergency. We've never had to use it, but we do test it on a regular basis. We do have some very big machinery that comes this way onto the pitch. Massive sunlight machines that help the grass grow, they would come this way as well.
How long does that process take, like the hydraulic?
To lift it, not long. It takes about 10 minutes to lift up, that's all. Yeah. Does anyone know what these boards are here? Any ideas? Team sheets. Good guess, but no. Anyone else? Have you ever seen the players come out after the match and stand here, do an interview? These will have all their sponsorships on. Okay, we have a lighting system here as well to help with that, and that's what these boards are for. We do have a room as well at the back if they wanted to do that as well. I just have to mention the 2 guys on the plaques here, very, very important to Man United. So John Henry Davis, he was a local brewer in the 1800s. He actually bought the land here for around £60,000. He built the stadium, and we played our first game here in 1910 against Liverpool. And the score? 4-3. Doesn't matter. So without him, we wouldn't actually be here. This guy here, Mr. Gibson, again in the 1930s, the club was really struggling financially. So he paid for all the club's debts, he paid for all the players' wages, and he went around the local towns to find youngsters to come and play for Man United. He didn't realise at the time he created the first academy. We've had an academy player in the first team ever since, every squad game ever since, for over 4,000 games, over 85 years, so we're very proud. Serious faces, very good. So wait for my signal, yeah, and I'll tell you when to come down, so wait for me. You guys go further back, all the way down to that red barrier.
Something new precise.
On top of this adventure dreams, will you please welcome Liverpool and Manchester United.
Both halves as well in his technical area. Third reason being that the substitutes would warm up on this side as well. So just a few little reasons that he's seen why he wanted to do that. But as I say, every manager before have always sat on this side. The dugouts actually used to be very low down, sort of dugouts of the ground. And the pitch had a bit of a camber. It still has in the middle slightly. It's raised up slightly, as you can see. So Sir Alex Ferguson at the time said he couldn't see the players' feet on the other side of the pitch. So he had these raised up like this, and he'd always sit on the back row, second seat in, just over there. And most managers have sat on the back row ever since, except for one who sat on the front row.
Mourinho.
Correct. Mourinho. He was on the front row. Normally kicking water bottles at Luke Shaw. But yeah, he was always on the front row. Eric Ten Hag sits where that gentleman's about to sit there. So he's our new gaffer for today. Easy access to get out and straight into the technical area as well. Just above you there is the gantry. So on a match day, if you watch the game at home on TV, that is where it will be broadcast from. Most of the cameras will be up there. The day before, we would hoist the cameras up, just lifting straight up to the top. The commentators would make their way. In fact, I can show you a little video, actually, if you've got one of these devices. I'll just put on how they get to the gantry. Give me 1 minute.
Najviše.
Just up to your right there, the two sort of dark grey coloured bluey studios. The first one.
Direktorska mjesta i dio gdje Ferguson ima 8 svojih mjesta. Samo ako si dobar sa Fergijem može ti dati mjesto ovdje. Ali više voli dovesti Julio Roberts i Tysona Furya. Kako su obilježena mjesta. Dobar pogled za Fergija.
Over 25 years, a lot of them. Because what happens is with a season ticket, we have 55,000 season ticket holders, but they're very difficult to get. So families hand them down to their kids, and they hand them down to their kids. So that's why we've always got a waiting list for season tickets here. So they keep them in the family, and that's why you see a lot of names on seats, because they've had them for over 25 years. Well, where we are now, these are probably the most expensive seats in the stadium. The prices have actually just gone up after 10 years, but they were around £950 for a seat round here for a season, which is really good. It's about £50 a game. It has slightly gone up. I'm not sure exactly the price now, but it's gone up a slight margin on that. Lower down, you'll pay about £4.80 for the lower down seats. But again, to get these seats, there's a waiting list. Very difficult to get seats. Anyone got any questions?